her brother, okay, well, okay, he was homosexual, right? Or he had a relationship.
A partner, just say partner.
Okay, he had a partner. Well, marriage wasn't allowed then. But what the fact is, when he died, the whole Baptist church from somewhere in Alabama came to Atlanta and supported him. The few Adventist people that were there. But you see, and he found solace in that they accepted him for who he was, and not because of his choice.
Right.
And I don't know how I don't know his state of dying as far as God is concerned, and it's not for me to know. But you see, this is something we feel, oh no, we cannot associate, we can't.
We're very hard on people.
Yes.
We're very hard on people.
We are.
As if though we are Christ.
And you want to only deal with people in that circle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go outside of. So oftentimes I hear so much, oh, the first day church this, the first day church that.
We joke about the first day church a lot, but they keep it real.
But yes, and there's a lot of qualities and a good things in the first day church that we Adventists can piggyback off of.
Yes.
Right. Their love.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. They're short of love.
Yes.
Right. All churches have their politics, true enough.
Right.
But they have some good qualities also. Like I said, we're not loving them.
Right.
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
Some of us are not loving.
Well, that's what
Those people that are not loving outweigh the people that are.
I don't like you.
I'm just saying. I know you are.
It's like you walk into that first day of church, they're like, oh, welcome. How you doing?
My pastor's friend, Pastor Junior. How you doing?
Versus, you feel the warm spirit.
His wife and first lady Benini's bad. How you doing?
You feel the warm spirit.
Absolutely.
Especially even in the smaller churches.
Oh yeah.
I told my husband, I said, boy, when I walked into my brother-in-law church, even though he has a very small congregation, you felt the love. Versus,
Yeah.
But anyway, the question is, how can we change that mindset?
I don't know. Well,
Your husband have
one at a time.
Go ahead, baby.
One person at a time. Go ahead.
Well, I did have my hand up, but
It was Bobby's fault.
it's always his fault.
The only way that I
Man, I'm gonna turn you
you know you gotta jump in. Hey, listen, this is a happiness show.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
You got to mute him, honey.
Yeah, for the building. We as Adventists, I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist church, so born Seventh-day Adventist. But we are hard people. And when you're talking about counseling or psychology, giving this service to our people, being an Adventist or somebody just coming in, we're so judgmental sometimes.
Yes, we are.
And sometimes, even at Fasana, if somebody was to just to tell you something, they can look you in your face and see that, you're not the one I need to talk to.
That is true. That is true.
And say, never mind, and turn away.
Yeah.
But we have to come because we should be a place where you can come and be able to talk your problems out. And this is the place that we need to be. But it's a lot of changes that's going to have to be made. sometimes we have to look at self. You know, it's a lot of us are scarred ourselves and in positions. In the positions that they shouldn't be in that position because they got some things going on inside. And when you come to them, you get what's inside of them.
That is true. That is true.
And it's given in a harsh way or the wrong way.
Right.
You know, and that's how a vulnerable person receives it. And it's hard for them to come back and talk to you again. You know? So we got to figure out how we can just humble ourselves. I think we have to go to God in these.
You took the words right out of my mouth, brother.
We have to go to God, you know, and if we're in positions like this to try to help counsel or to, and first of all, it needs to be somebody that has, you know, that's in that field. I believe.
Right. Absolutely. Right.
You know, you can't have people just giving their own opinion.
No, that's not counseling.
Counseling, you know.
The listening session.
Yeah.
Ain't even finished school. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Time also. We want things in a microwavable sense as far as convenience is concerned. We are very impatient as a population, as a people in general. Instant gratification. So we feel like if I come to Sister Holmes and she not really receiving what I'm saying and she, you know, well, whatever. Okay. I'm already turned off. I'm not gonna come back to you. Like at all, probably. I'm gonna say, hey.
Yeah, that's
you know, I'm not gonna come back to you on that level.
Community service leader.
But time, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that it takes time to develop relationship and to develop a trusting relationship. Like Brandi, like when you go to a therapist, a lot of people are like, oh, I tried therapy. Brandi's first question is, well, for how long? Because it's not something that you can, that even medication, you can't take them for 2 days and feel better. You're on blood pressure medicine. It's going to take at least a month to get in your system and regulate your blood pressure. And then from there on out, but you have got to be consistent. And so we are very instant gratification. And I don't want the patients to be consistent enough to get the help that I need. And I also feel like you were going back to as far as the Black community at large. We feel like it's a sign of weakness. Going to someone for help. That's just point one period. Whatever type of help it is, we feel like it's a sign of weakness. So, you know, I just.
But I don't want to get that therapist my money. I don't want to get that therapist my money because that's what I got God for.
And I think in the African American community, because the male, the perception of the male is you the macho, you're supposed to be going through this. That's why they don't have an outlet.
Right.
So like I said before, their outlet, oh, let me get this brother before he get me.
Yeah, I guess for men, I guess we're only allowed to cry when someone dies or we hurt ourselves to the degree that we can't help but cry. But in terms of other activity, we don't feel that we are able to show that, because if you from those emotional situations, and sometimes it has, I think it, not to say that this is in totality the reason, but it sometimes is the way we have been conditioned and brought up. You're a little boy, you fall down, you scrape, you get up, you're all right, get up. Don't cry, boy, don't cry. And you know, and then we find out when we are really hurt, not just on scraping the knee, but in an emotional situation, as a teenager, a young adult, someone dating, you have a breakup, and you're sitting in a room by yourself, and you just sulking and maybe crying or trying to cry or not to cry.
You better suck it up.
You don't cry.
You suck it up.
What you crying for?
And see, the only time you're able to cry is when you hurt yourself real bad, someone dies, or it's in an athletic situation and you won the championship.
Oh, yeah.
And you can
Y'all
cry.
crying. Y'all crying
You
there.
can cry because there are happy tears.
And thank mama.
Thank mama.
What happened there?
I'll buy you a new car, dog. I'm happy now.
That sounds stereotype. That sounds stereotype right there.
No, but seriously, when you see black men cry, even in the movie,
Yeah.
you don't see a black man cry unless there's something, he's physically hurt or someone dies in the movie, something traumatic situation happens. Otherwise, the brother got to man up.
Yeah.
And that's so true. I was thinking of a funny incident. I had to be third grade, second grade, I don't know, whatever. And she doesn't want me to be her boyfriend. What? We all took him and set him up.
Third grade.
Are you crazy? You don't cry over that. And that's what we told him.
Yeah.
But he was hurt.
You could have messed up that young
I
man.
did. That is true.
I probably have.
That is
I probably
true.
did.
That is
How do we, because the question, the initial question, how do we think about psychology, counseling, and so forth in the Christian church? How do we not allow psychology then, or counseling then, become the God of our lives? The question is, how do we look at psychology and so forth? How do we not allow it to become a God to us?
Do you think it's easily to become a God?
I'm asking a question
Well,
because the question is in the context of the Christian church, and the Christian church is that our God is the God of heaven.
Thank you, brother.
Is our Creator.
Thank you, and thank you.
And so then how then do we allow God to, put it in a better way, how do we continue to allow God to be God and psychology to have its place?
Well, I think the psychologist is going to set the mind straight. The mindset, okay? And then you add the spirituality to it to complement it. I think you might need both in a session, and as the psychology and the you know what I'm saying. But I think you need both.
But you still got to deal with your issue.
That issue.
But I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to your wife. We're talking about pros and cons. You're weighing out the psychology, and you're also weighing out the God. With what Pastor just said, I always. How many of us here have seen a therapist? Okay. My reason for asking that question, all right, you done saw 6 therapists. But my reason for asking.
I missed my appointment.
But at a point in time in your life, you realize that you didn't need that therapist anymore. You have God to go to. With our pastor's question, he said that how when we realize that when at a point in time in our life that we realize we don't need to see a therapist anymore. I think, I just, seriously speaking, family, I've never spoken to a therapist. And by the grace of God, I hope to never speak to a therapist. My wife has been dead for 8 months now. And to tell you the truth, family, I think I'm handling it very well. My therapist is God. I've talked to a few people in church and telling me, oh, Roger, you need to see a therapist and this and that and all that kind of stuff. But everybody handles things differently.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And there's a lot of stuff that I have to deal with. Even with, there's a lot of baggage that I have to deal with, but it's just not baggage as far as we're talking about suicidal or but it's just, you know, family. When you, our pastor know what I'm talking about, because, you know, you have other siblings should be there, but they're not doing their part. But I just believe that God is the only one. He's just the only one to me. God is just, that's it. I hope I've heard of 4 people in my family seeing therapists. And I ask myself why. But I don't know what it is that they're going through.
Right.
And as our pastor stated, with parents, when parents lay down to have children with their spouses, as the wife just stated, you don't know who you're getting involved with. So you don't know what baggage that these kids have that you don't know about. Maybe that's why they saw a therapist.
Yeah, and two, like, and I know people are like, oh, I don't need college to do this. It's not for everybody.
That is
because
true.
there are people who can go throughout life and they have systems in place that they can set up, whether it be God, whether it be talking to someone who, I don't know what it is, but I don't believe that everybody needs it. Can we all benefit from it? I do believe we can.
Yes.
But it is not a necessity for every person. So if that is your reality, absolutely. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to be in therapy or that you should be. Because I would have never known that your wife passed away. My condolences. You know,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so the way that you go about life, I can tell from what I can see. I don't live here, obviously, but every time I come in, there's always a smile on your face, there's a song in your heart, and there's a prayer on your lips.
I have a lot of issues. I need a therapist. But go ahead.
Trust me, he
True.
does. When do we sign up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. That's the first thing you have to admit.
But yeah, and that's, but I think that that's also a reality too, because I think that we all, not we all, but a lot of people pose the therapy and the counselor session to Black people in general, but it's not always needed.
Right.
Is it beneficial?
Yes, it is. Yes,
but
it
it's
is.
not necessity for everyone.
Yes.
I think
And a lot of times God will send people in your life
Yeah.
Yes.
that will help you.
Exactly. Yeah.